Hello, folks. Today I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about being useful, right? Being useful, being resourceful. So, if you think about it, let's say you want to actually say, I don't know, make friends, for example, or meet new people, network with people, right? And make new relationships. Like this can be friendships, colleagues, and whatnot, right? So how would you make it happen apart from, of course, communication and just reaching out to people and all, and talking to people, and then say being nice, of course. I'll probably talk about that, but being nice in general helps you a lot, and I think everyone can be nice. It's a skill that can be acquired. If you think you are a very rude person, short-tempered person and all, I think anyone can be nice, right? It's not like only some people can be nice and kind and all, and others are just going to be rude. It's a skill that you learn, like any other skill that you can learn. So just practice being nice and all that. So ideally, to form relationships, say friendships, colleagues, and network with people, say at work, and in general, like say with people outside, with respect to say related to work, say you want to form a network so that your business grows or your career grows and whatnot. It's important to first be useful, right? And in general, to succeed in life, and if you want to do great things in life, and achieve things and whatnot, whatever it is, I think it's important to just be nice and be useful, especially be useful and resourceful, right? Be useful and resourceful to people and to the world, right? I personally want to actually be useful and resourceful to the world. Why? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like I'm born and I have what do you say? A great um,
अटेंडेंस डाले तो
great passion, say to say contribute to the world. I want to contribute whatever I can to the world. So to some extent there is selflessness, and to a lot of extent there is also selfishness, of course, over here. So good thing is, yeah, I mean the world will benefit with whatever contributions you have, I have. So we try to contribute to the world, and whatever you contribute, it will come back, right? I mean, and you don't have to contribute to for it to come back, as in with the goal that it will come back or it should come back and whatnot. You just contribute and be useful to the world. At some point, most probably, the world will also be useful to you, right? And it helps a lot when you're useful to people and resourceful to people. Like it's great when you actually can be useful and resourceful to people in the world. For example, let's say you want to be friends with someone, just talking and whatnot is one thing, and having a good time and whatnot is one thing. Let's I mean, not just like this level, not just friends, say colleagues, especially career, say your forming work relationships, or relationships in your industry and whatnot. When you're useful, resourceful, if you think about it, like say, what would you want your friends, colleagues to think about you, right? That's the main thing. For example, I want my friends, my colleagues to think of me as like, hey, it's great to actually be Karpe as friend. It's great to actually be Karpe as colleague, right? It's they should see benefits in actually being friends with you and being a colleague or knowing you and you knowing them, right? So it's both ways. For example, any famous person, you will know them, but do they know you? Right? So there are perks to being famous and all that, of course, right? So, but when you know someone and they know you, like it's a two-way relationship, like you know, both of you know each other, um, and they think that being a friend to you, or you knowing them or them knowing you both, is actually beneficial and great. Like they feel like it's actually amazing that I actually met you. If they say think things like if they say things like that, or if they think things like that, like for example, it's amazing that I met Karpya, it's amazing that I know Karpya, and it's amazing that I'm friends with Karpya, Karpya knows me, and it's amazing that I'm Karpya's colleague, that I get to work with him and whatnot. These are great things, right? This will help you actually move forward. And when you are useful to people, it is possible that they'll also be useful to you, or like they'll actually at least feel great that there is someone useful out there. And if you think about it, I mean, if you're not going to be useful or resourceful, then I don't know what's the point. Like, I think it's important to be useful and resourceful, and like it also helps you understand how you can contribute to the world. And when you can actually, I mean, think about it, like if someone comes to you and asks you for help, two things, right? First, they basically consider you that you can help, right? And you can be useful, resourceful and all that. They think that, which is a great thing. Not everyone is going to think that you're useful, resourceful and all that, right? So which is so like which is normal. Like not everyone is gonna think that hey, it's great that this guy is out there. Like for example, I want the world to think like Albert Einstein. It's great that Albert Einstein was born. Right? He was born and he was out there living and creating and inventing stuff, discovering stuff and whatnot. Right? So similar to that, I want the world to also think like to think that hey, it's great that this person exists, and I want to be able to give as much as possible to the world, contribute to the world, and be useful. And if you actually read this book called Grit by Angela Duckworth, you can actually see that a lot of people want to contribute to the world, and that is kind of like their bigger purpose. Usually it's something towards that, and a lot of people have actually been able to achieve a lot of things by just focusing on their bigger purpose, like contributing to other people, right? There is some level of selflessness, and there is of course some level of selfishness. I'm still reading the book. It's been some time since I paused it. I've been busy with work and all. But it talks about the selfishness and selflessness. Selflessness is you're useful to the world. Selfishness is like you probably get something by being useful to the world. Like you probably find more friends. For example, let's say a lot of people think that hey, Karpya is a great friend. He's very resourceful. Like they think that he's very resourceful. He's very helpful. He's very useful. Then a lot of people would want to be your friends, right? And then you can choose. Like you ideally would want people like in your life who you consider like say great and say nice, like fun to be with and whatnot, or like I don't know, like they are very smart or whatever, right? Now if say 100 people want to be friends with you and you are kind of friends with them, then you can never know who is like everyone has their own subjective idea of like hey, this is a great person, right? Or this is a person I want to hang out with and whatnot, right? But if everyone wants to hang out with you, then you can actually choose saying, okay, 100 people, 200 people, so many friends, like, or so many people I know. And then now I can choose actually, and everyone wants to actually be close to me and all that. Now I can choose who I can be close with. And you can actually pick and choose your friends, like you can pick and choose, and they already want to be your friends. Like almost a lot of people want to be your friends because you are very resourceful and helpful. So now you can actually, now it's in your hands and it's your choice to actually choose okay, these are some people who actually think I am great. Now, who do I think is great, and can I actually just choose them and just hang out with them and understand, because only when you spend time with someone, you'll know if you want to spend more time with them or not, right? So initially, you just hang out with everyone and like spend time with everyone and whatnot. Later, I mean, it's not really possible, humanly possible for uh, someone to connect with everyone. It's like, that's what I think, and that's what I think logically. Though, for example, I would want to know everyone and everyone to know me, but that's impossible, right? And like, I want to know, say, everyone working in my department at work, or everyone in my hostel where I stay, where like some 85, no, not 85, probably 160 odd people stay, 150, 160, 170 odd people stay. But it's not easy, right? For people to remember your name, know about you, remember what you told me. And it's also not possible for me to know everyone's life stories and whatnot, right? It's very hard, right? The thing is, you try basically, and well, you just keep trying, right? And the other thing is, of course, I spoke about being resourceful, useful. Of course, same thing. You can't be resourceful and useful to too many people at once, or like too many people. But over time, this will grow, right? So, and it's humanly not possible to always help whenever someone asks for help and all that, right? So, of course, you pick and choose and be like, okay, this is something that I can do. If you can do something small that actually has a big impact for someone else, why not do it, right? Just do it, it's fine. Go ahead and do it. Don't expect anything in return or whatever, right? Just do it and do something, say, that won't give you anything back in return. Do some things sometimes that won't give you anything back in return. For example, I have done some stuff like that. It gives you a habit also, it creates a habit. It's an interesting habit. You get to do stuff for people or for, say, organizations or whatever, right? Organizations are still people working towards something or whatever, right? This can be your workplace, it could be an NGO or whatever. This could be a separate place, an NGO or for-profit organization. But do something for people. Do something nice. For example, let's say if someone left the table at your workplace unclean, like say some waste papers and stuff, you can probably take it and throw. Like instead of thinking or saying it is their responsibility to do it, like the person who littered the place or whatever, or and you can of course say that they littered, but if you want to clean it up, you can actually do it and be like, okay, this is a clean place, this looks nicer. Or instead of saying this is not my job and whatnot, right? You can actually sometimes do it. Like, I'm not saying change the job and start doing cleaning and whatnot. I'm just giving an example, but of course it's not always possible to do. You will probably have other things to do and all that, of course. But and if your job is cleaning, great. Like the world is very, very, very unclean sometimes. So, anyways, so I'm just saying, like, you can do some tasks, some small tasks sometimes, not always. For example, I like to get rid of all the dirty plates or whatever, or dirty bowls over here at my workplace at a cafeteria, and keep it in the sink. A lot of people don't do it, and then there are waiters or like cleaning people, cleaning staff who actually come and pick it up. But then there's only so much cleaning staff, right? They also have to take care of the different parts of the cafeteria. So I'm like, okay, there are some people who don't have the time, either be empathetic or complete one of these, whatever. There are some people who don't even have the time to keep the bowls in the sink and whatnot, or maybe they do have the time. Being sarcastic that they don't have the time, or maybe they really don't have the time because some meeting or something. They just had to run and whatnot. So it could be a thing, right? But regardless, you can just clean it up so that someone else can come and sit in the tables and whatnot. So that's something that you can do if you want to do, and if you have the time to do it, why not? It's just being useful and doing something that is not really gonna give you much of an advantage unless, like for example in this case, clean up the table. Like, if you're gonna use the table, okay, but say no, you're not gonna use the table or whatever. And there are only some say 5 tables, and all of them are like most of them have some dirty plates. You can pick it up, right? And you can be like, okay, let's get rid of these and clean it up. So yeah, I mean it's nice and great to actually be useful. It'll be useful to the world, and you also feel good. So it has both benefits. You can be selfish and you can be selfless. And Grit book has some references to this actually about being selfish and selfless and all. It talks about one of I think he's a psychologist, one prominent psychologist named Adam Grant. He has written books and all. So you might have known him. You might you might have seen his Netflix. TED talks. But yeah, I mean he talks about how there can be both selfishness and selflessness. So yeah, I mean if you want to do great things, I would say it's a good idea to be useful and be resourceful to the world and contribute to the world and contribute to people in general. So this can be people at your house, people just near around you, say your colleagues, friends, your family, and then it can go on to your wherever you stay. Like you stay in a neighborhood, your neighborhood. If you stay in a hostel, say the hostel, and then from the neighborhood it can move on to say your city, your area, your city, and then it can go on to the state, and then it can go on to the nation, multiple states, then to the nation, the country, and then it can go on to the continent, and then to the world. Basically, slowly go on to that, and who knows, maybe even contribute to the universe. Just like the whole space and whatnot. Maybe there are creatures out there, or things out there that we don't know about, or maybe we do know as it's known. Maybe some do know. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, just be useful, and probably at the end of your life, you might just feel great, and the world will also probably feel great. Hey, there was someone like this who was useful and resourceful. Yup. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.